the ultimate guide in getting started with commercial real estate. Hello, my name is Chris Rassam, founder and your host of Bigger Profits Podcast, where I want you to be able to learn, connect, and grow with other investors in the commercial real estate industry. So if you're just getting started with commercial real estate, you're probably wondering, how do I get started? Where do I go? What do I look for? What do I look at? I think there's a lot of questions that surround us with how to actually get started into commercial real estate. So today we're looking at just some basic commercial real estate 101 items to get you started on your journey and path. So when I first started getting into commercial real estate and learning, I actually started off as a commercial real estate lender. So I'd utilize my own capital, typically $250,000 to $500,000, and put that into multiple different real estate projects called hard money lending. So I would lend to other investors that found a project and are wanting to take it to completion, do their value add, and I would be able to see all the steps of their progress and path. This allowed me to kind of get on the insides and learn a little bit more about commercial real estate and what other investors are doing. And also, I was able to make some great returns by doing this. So from there, I got into my first student housing deal in Boulder, Colorado, where we located a property that was literally right across the street from the university. There's value add components, and it looked like a great deal. We're able to pick it up right under appraisal value, and the value with construction cost us around $2.5 million. So that was my first, I would say, bigger deal that I started with. And the goal for that property was to be able to remodel it, to raise rents, and stabilize it. And then we would take a look at our exit options, whether we wanted to hold it, refinance it, and keep it, or if we wanted to sell the property. So current day, the property is worth well over $3 million. Next, I invested into a self-storage facility in Florida. So this one was a home run value add property that we picked up that needed a lot of work due to storm damage. It was on 5 acres, over 200 units, and had a lot of potential and a lot of runway. So this one was definitely a unicorn deal. We got it at a steal of a price and had huge valuations post remodel. So we're currently still working on that project today. It's going very well, and we're excited to get that one up and going. From there, I've actually been looking to acquire a lot more self-storage facilities. So I'm currently on the hunt for self-storage facilities because it's become one of my favorite asset classes in commercial real estate. So I've done many other deals on my journey since I started. I've purchased land, I've built multiple homes, I've invested into some multi-million dollar developments that are oceanfront properties. I've even, believe it or not, flipped horses. Yeah, I bought a show horse. We got it trained, we delivered from overseas, and I was able to flip the horse for multiple profits. So I guess you can call me the horse flipper. Through this time, I've been able to multiply my net worth many times over, and I feel that commercial real estate investing is one of the greatest wealth creation vehicles that we have today. And I feel like this is a way that you can create wealth, pass it on to your family, and also be able to just bless your family and those around you. Part of the mission and goal of Bigger Profits is to help you learn and to connect investors together and create that natural community so that we can have other people to talk to, learn from, and do deals with. Current day, my focus has definitely been on commercial real estate because it's one of the only assets where you can generate 6 to 7 figure profits on a single transaction and single deal. And this is why it's called Bigger Profits. So by the end of this episode, I want you to have a clear and actionable roadmap to begin your journey in commercial real estate. I also want you guys to be able to learn the basics and understand the different commercial real estate types and discover the first steps you need to get started in investing. So imagine you're at the base of a mountain, and it's a huge mountain. You're looking at the top and you're saying, oh my gosh, it looks like it could be so spectacular and amazing up there, but how am I gonna walk all the way up there? And it seems like a daunting task, but in the same way with real estate or commercial real estate investing, it could seem like a daunting task for you to get in and learn how to get to the top of the mountain. So to begin climbing, you're gonna need to gather your gear, your knowledge, your capital, and your connections before starting that journey. And again, this is part of what we're doing here is equipping you to be able to start that journey and have others that you can walk alongside with to get to that mountain. And I'll tell you what, by the time you get up in that mountain, it's going to be well worth the travel. So what is commercial real estate? What do you think about when you think commercial real estate? So for myself, I think of apartment buildings or multifamily. So that would include apartments or even student housing facilities that are over 4 units, so 5 units plus. I would take a look at self-storage properties, which falls under the industrial or warehouse category. I would take a look at RV parks, mobile home parks. You can look at retail centers, you can look at office buildings. I don't really get too much into those asset classes. So really anything that is not your traditional standard residential property. So this is also going to differ on how you purchase that property. With residential property, you're typically purchasing through a standard mortgage that's based off of your income. What I love about commercial property is you can get different types of loans, and it doesn't really matter about your personal income or what you're showing most of the time. It matters about what type of income that property is receiving or generating. Also, with real estate properties, you can get loans that are called non-recourse loans. So they're loans where if you default, you don't have to risk all of your personal assets because they can only go after the individual property and not your personal assets or homes or things. So again, there's a lot of good reasons and risk-adverse reasons why you would want to get into commercial property. So I think the state of the market right now, we're talking in August 2024, where interest rates have been high. We see that sales are stagnant. People aren't really wanting to buy, or they're holding off. Sellers are still trying to get a high price that they're not getting. And what this does is that this creates a stagnant market where the buyers and the sellers are not meeting. And it takes time through interest rates changing for that to be able to come together, because value and interest rates have to match up in a line for an investor to purchase a property and a seller to actually want to sell their property. So do I feel this is a good time to start investing in commercial real estate? I think it's an amazing time to start searching for properties, because a lot of people are just waiting on the sidelines, not wanting to go after properties or start their search, and sellers are still wanting to sell. So there's a lot of good deals to be had in the market, especially for the small to medium sized investor to get into. Now, if we're talking the huge REITs that don't want to go and negotiate and play the market, yeah, for them, they're probably going to sit on the sidelines for a while before hopping back in and wait for interest rates to drop. The problem that you have is once you wait for interest rates to drop down, everybody else is going to start getting back in the market, and there's going to be that competition frenzy and the buyer frenzy that's happening, which is going to make it more competitive. So when the market looks doom and gloom, that's when you want to actually enter the market, or at least start your search and see if you could find that home run deal. Now, as far as my personal experience, I actually started getting into real estate investing after I sold a company. So we had a company, I would say for about 13 years that me and a partner started, and we ended up having a multi-million-dollar sale. And from there, I started hopping into serious real estate investing as of 2018. I've loved the journey experience. I've dove in headfirst. I've looked at all the asset classes, starting from fix and flips to wholesaling deals to multifamily, student housing, Airbnbs, land development, self-storage, flex space. So I've been able to get a lot of knowledge on a lot of different asset classes. And this is why I know what I want to target today and what types of asset classes and deals I'm actually looking for, which is really helpful. So one suggestion I would have is try to identify the asset class that you like, that you want to get involved in, and stick with that and that one alone. It's amazing to try to go after 10 different rabbits and 10 different asset classes, but let me tell you from experience, as much as I love to do that, and I have, it's really hard to manage once you start getting lots of different deals all over the place. So my advice would be, if you want to go multifamily, amazing. If you want to go self-storage, amazing. Flex space, amazing. Get into RV and mobile home parks, amazing. They have great returns. But I would choose one of those and just start learning more about that type of asset class, how to de-risk the deal when you find it, how to do underwriting, and just go after those deals, at least until you start getting a handful of those deals before you pivot to a different asset class. Another advantage of commercial real estate is the scale of economy. So for example, if you wanted to buy 10 single family homes, you're gonna have to find 10 different deals. You're gonna have to do 10 different closings. You're going to have to set up 10 different LLCs, one for each of the homes, to put them in to protect them. There's so much more management that happens and work involved when you're getting a big portfolio of single family homes. Now, for example, if we take an apartment building, you can buy a 20 unit, a 50 unit, a 100 unit plus apartment building. So imagine going from doing 10, 20, 50 different closings of individual homes and trying to find all those to begin with, rather than spending time, a little more time, to find one large apartment deal that you can go into. Whether that's a 20 unit, a 50 unit, a 100 unit apartment complex, it's going to be much easier to go after that and manage that after the sale than to try to manage a whole huge portfolio of individual homes. Especially after you're done with your value add play and you want to refinance that deal. With individual homes, you have to refinance each deal to be able to get your money out. If you buy one apartment complex, you're able to do one value add project and one refinance if you want to pull your money out of that deal and continue to hold it. Or if you want to sell that one big project, that's one sale that you have to deal with rather than trying to sell 10 to 20 individual homes. Also, you're able to de-risk by having a loan for the apartment building that's non-recourse, which means if for any reason you go bankrupt, they can only take the property and they can't take all of your other stuff. When you buy individual homes, they look at your income, they look at your credit scores, they look at, they have you sign a personal guarantee in order to get loans for those assets. And again, this is why bigger is better, because bigger is actually easier and less work than trying to get a lot of small different deals. So why is commercial real estate investing such a powerful wealth building tool? Well, there's a lot of advantages you can have when you invest in real estate. There's tons of tax advantages, there's tons of financial advantages, and also you can leverage those deals to continue growing and scaling your portfolio. So looking at cash flow, once you buy a property, it should be cash flowing. So you have people that are paying you month to month, called mailbox money. This is great because typically with rents, whether that's an apartment rent, whether you have a self-storage facility and you continue raising rents there, year after year, you're going to continue raising those rents about 2 to 3% to match inflation. We're not going to talk about the inflation that's gone way over 2 to 3%, but in theory, 2 to 3% over time, you continually increase rents, which also is going to give you a bigger valuation for your property. Now, take that over a scale of 5, 10, 20 years, it's enormous. The other advantage is that appreciation over time. What can you do with that appreciation? So let's say you get a self-storage deal today and you buy it for $2 million. You put in $500,000, so you're into it for $2.5 million. Once you stabilize it and increase rents, let's say that property is now worth $4 million within a 3-year time frame. So what are you going to do with that extra $1.5 million appreciation spread on the property? And this is one of the advantages, because one thing that you can do is you can go back to the bank. You can say, hey, I've taken this property and now it's worth $4 million and I want to refinance and take out a 70% loan, keep 30% equity into the property, and all of a sudden you're getting back all of your money that you put into the deal up front, plus potentially some more. And even better is that that money is tax-free when you go to refinance. And the goal is to take that money out, hold that property. We call that an infinite return, which is beautiful. And we take that and put that money into the next property, and then the next property. And imagine the compound effect that you'll get if you continue that progress year after year after year. So even if you get one deal per year, or even one deal every couple of years, and you start stacking those over a 10-year period, by year 10, I mean, you should be having a huge portfolio with a lot of appreciation. And there's tax benefits. Don't forget those. The government actually rewards real estate investors by giving them multiple tax benefits. You have depreciation. You have deducting the mortgage interest. You have deferment of if you sell one property and you take those gains and put it into another property, it's called a 1031 exchange. You're not taxed on that exchange. There's so many different tax benefits you have when investing in commercial property. Also, the ability to leverage and finance. So leveraging is huge when it comes to growing your wealth. I know it's not the Dave Ramsey method, pay all in cash, but if you look at Robert Kiyosaki, he says the richest man in the room is the man that can borrow the most. I think he said that. Anyways, you get my point. But if you can continue borrowing money from the banks, you can continue growing your portfolio, and you want to make sure not to over leverage. But let's just say you stick to a 70-30 type loan where you borrow 70% and you put a 30% down payment on the property. That's a pretty safety net where if the market shifts, you're still going to be cash flowing positive and be safe. So I hope some of that information has helped so far, and we're going to keep giving you more and more information as you keep coming back to the show. So steps to get started today. I think one thing is to continue educating yourself. You can never get enough knowledge, and knowledge is power. I continue learning every day. Second step is to build a financial foundation. Continue saving so that you can save for a down payment for your first commercial real estate deal. You can find small commercial real estate deals from $200,000, $500,000, $1 million. So if you can save that 20 to 30% and be ready to start finding your first deal, that's great. So make sure you start doing that. Or get some partners, get some capital partners. Start talking to people and say, hey, I'm getting into commercial real estate. I'm looking for my first project. Do you want to be an investor with me if I find this first deal? Network and building relationships. This is huge. And this is, again, why I have founded Bigger Profits, because I want to connect investors that are like-minded, that are looking for the bigger, better deals and want to do it together and to connect together. So we're creating an online forum, an online community. We're on social media. I want you guys to start connecting and join into all these things. I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we're going to start doing network groups to get local investors together to meet up. Hopefully this will turn into big annual events. So I'd really encourage you guys to be a part of the community and just hop on the forums. It's free to join, free to start, and just start getting connected. I would love to see you guys there and talk with you. If it's your first deal, I would suggest maybe starting small and getting some experience, or partner in with somebody else who's already doing the work and already has that experience. There's lots of amazing guys out there that are doing what I'm doing, sharing the knowledge, and are great people to partner with. Learn to analyze deals. You want to be able to analyze deals, whether you're buying your own deal or investing with somebody else and partnering with them. I think this is the number one skill that you're going to want to start learning and learn well, because if you cannot underwrite a deal, you can lose a lot of money in the market. When I first started, man, it took me maybe a week, 2 weeks to try to underwrite a deal because I wanted to make sure I got all the information and was not making a mistake. My goal was to be able to look at a deal and from back of the napkin type underwriting, just be able to say yes or no. And I've been able to do that now, and it makes it so much easier to just go through deals, look at them quickly, see what's good, see what's not good. And if they pass that first set of tests, then I proceed and do some further digging and underwriting. But make sure you learn to underwrite. Now, what are some common mistakes that you can make? Well, over leveraging. If you're borrowing too much and stack too much debt, that can cause you to topple. Because once the market has a change, and if interest rates go up and you have to refinance all those properties and you've over leveraged, that means you're going to lose your whole portfolio, and you don't want to do that. Lack of due diligence. Like I said, you want to make sure you can do your due diligence, your market research, and your underwriting. And you want to know how to do that. One of the most important things to be able to learn. Trying to do everything solo. I think there's just so much involved in real estate investing that you want to be able to build a team. You want to be able to build a network. You want to have different partners and continue creating those relationships so that you're not doing it solo. Ignoring market trends. You don't want to ignore market trends. You want to be on top of that. You want to understand what happens when interest rates raise. What happens when interest rates go down? Where do you want to be in the market, and how do you want to position your deal? That's super crucial to understand if you want to succeed in investing. Underestimating cost. This is, I think, something that everybody does or everyone has experience with, including myself. When you underestimate costs of a project, you end up losing all of your profit. So for example, if costs went up 30% by the end of your project and you're wondering why you have no profit on that deal, well, it's probably because it was a lack of bad management on your side, my side, on that particular deal. So make sure going in, you understand all the costs involved, you get bids from different contractors for all that, and don't just guesstimate the work. So for some next steps, I do want you to start setting some goals. I want you to be specific. I want you to measure those goals. I want you to know what you're going to target and when you want to accomplish getting into your first deal. Or what is it that you want to learn and how are you going to learn it? Is it through community? Is it through masterminds? Is it through mentorship? What is the best way for you to succeed and to grow in this? I also want you guys to start engaging in the community that I'm looking to build. This involves all of us, not just myself. So I want to see you there. I want you to sign up, get into the forums, and start engaging. Let's start talking. I want you to join the Facebook group. We have a Facebook group. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on all the social platforms. So please like, please subscribe. It's going to help get the word out so that we can continue to grow this community. And I want to motivate you guys by telling you every successful investor started somewhere. So I don't know where you are in your journey today. You might be a new investor. You might already be a successful investor, but everybody had to start somewhere. Everybody had to ask those questions. And the people that persisted the longest are the ones that win in the game. So don't get discouraged. Don't quit. Don't give up. I want to see you guys out there. I want to talk. I want to connect with you guys. And I want you guys to be a part of this community. So just remember, let's go bigger. Bigger is better.